My close friend didn't invite me to his wedding because I'm not in a relationship, but then he asked me to take care of his house while he's on his honeymoon. His girlfriend tried to justify things when I refused. For around 11 years, I have been good friends with a man, who we will refer to as John, who is 38 years old. We met at work when I was in my mid-20s and used to see each other often until the pandemic. Our time together, with a group of mutual friends, has decreased, but we still keep in touch. John and his partner, who we'll call Jane, 36 years old, have been in a relationship for around 8 years. They have been engaged for almost 2 years and each have a child from previous relationships. They have gone on trips with their children every year, and I have been glad to visit John's, now their, house and take care of things like their pets while they are away. I have assisted them with various projects and tasks in the past. Recently, I picked up Jane from the airport after her work trip and drove her home during a snowstorm last winter, because my vehicle was able to handle the conditions. Usually, I have been there and supportive in addition to our basic friendship. About 5 weeks ago, I learned from a friend that their wedding is approaching. They had invited everyone in our group except me a while back. As a gay man, I have felt excluded by some of my straight friends in different ways, both small and significant. This situation has made me reflect on how I spend my time and energy with people. I chose to take the suggestion and start to keep my distance. 3 days ago, John sent me a message asking if I will be available in early to mid-August. I exist. John asked me to visit again to take care of the animals and property, but I declined, saying I couldn't. He calls to discuss it. We had the same conversation again, being polite but a bit tense, so I eventually said that I won't come to your house. After a brief pause, I mentioned that I feel sad because it seems like I'm the only one in our group of friends who wasn't invited to his wedding. I also expressed that I can't support him as I did before if I'm just a distant friend now. I end the call on a positive note by wishing them a wonderful wedding and trip, and suggesting that we meet up for drinks sometime soon. 2 days ago, Jane contacted me to follow up, mentioning that John is upset with her and me. She explained that she was the one who decided on the guest list for our friends, and that I am misunderstanding the situation. Jane pointed out that there was limited space available, and that the other friends in our group have partners who also needed to be invited. She also hopes that I reconsider and assist them, as it would make John feel better. I don't have the right to be with others or to be invited to events. Is it bad that I establish my own limits in reaction to theirs? I try not to see my friendships as business deals. But they clearly want something from me, even though they haven't invited me and have avoided discussing it with me until they needed help paying for their honeymoon. Responses where LP has answered do not make sense. No hay respuesta. It seems like this friendship is unbalanced, and they are not appreciating your friendship. Why do you continue to invest time and effort in them? Programación orientada a objetos. As I mentioned, we have been quite close so far. I have been available when they needed me, which has happened frequently. This has made us close enough in the past that I didn't feel bothered or used. John's also supported me before, so try not to judge others based on their personal lives and family responsibilities. I was trying to describe briefly how I felt connected, considering the limited space available. This situation really made me see things differently because of the other friends who were invited, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't making their wedding all about myself. They came to me after leaving me out. Until now, most people seem to be in agreement, which makes me feel relieved. A few days ago, NTA Jane contacted me again to follow up, saying that John is upset with her because she made the final decisions about inviting friends, and that I am misunderstanding the situation. There is a limit to how many people our group of friends can include. What a fake excuse. If your friends need someone to look after their pets and home while they are on their honeymoon, they can ask someone else they trust, like another friend or family member. I am amazed by how bold some people can be. I believe in giving back the same amount of energy in a friendship as you receive. I'm not an expert on wedding customs, and I know each wedding is unique with its own guest list. However, it did hurt when our mutual friend contacted me to make plans for our group during the wedding weekend and I found out I wasn't invited. It was an uncomfortable situation, and my friend couldn't believe it either. Vlogs? Como estas? Not at all. And then to request assistance as if it's not a big deal. What did your friends think about it? Oh, there was definitely a surprise. I only found out because one of them, who lives a bit far, contacted me first to make plans for the weekend of the wedding, thinking I had been invited because John and I were close. I allowed him to catch up with the others because I didn't want to interrupt so close to the wedding and make it all about me. Yesterday afternoon, a few days after John started the conversation that caused the argument, he sent me a text saying, "I would like to meet for a drink tomorrow if you're available, and I want to apologize for my mistakes in person." I said yes to the meeting. After we started with some drinks, John's first words were that he let me down as a friend in this situation. Jane seemed very focused on prioritizing couples over single guests at the wedding, which made him feel excluded and thought it was unnecessary. But I think Jane invited couples first when choosing friends to invite, and she told John that it would be simpler to invite others once they know who will attend. John changed his mind and explained that he thought it was better to stick to her original idea of inviting the other couples in our group, who are all in relationships, unlike me. He believed that the RSVP process would work out. She ended up using the small space to include more family members. John confessed that he gave up and felt so embarrassed that he couldn't bring himself to tell me. He knew asking me for help was risky, but he did it because he needed someone reliable. My reply confirmed his fears. As he put it, he felt it was fair. He said a wedding should bring together your loved ones and friends who have been important to you and who you want to continue to be important to you, and he believed I met that criteria perfectly. He said that he has done more than most of the people on the guest list for him and his family during their relationship. This includes helping with trips and building their back deck together over the past 6 years to enjoy meals and host events. He became very upset when he mentioned that he was surprised Jane would judge me for being single while we were drinking. He couldn't believe she would do that after I helped her get home safely in a snowstorm earlier this year. He regretted not challenging her reasoning right away. He is even angrier because Jane contacted me in the way she did after our first phone call. John admitted that his words might not sound sincere now, but after talking with Jane, he promised there would be no more games. He assured me that I would receive a formal invitation and could bring a guest if I wanted. He also said they would arrange things to accommodate my wishes. He said he won't try to hide the situation but will be honest with our friends. One person has already canceled the wedding, and another couple has expressed their concerns. He feels he needs to take responsibility for his mistakes and regain trust, if that's even possible. He has also tasked Jane with finding a friend who can come over for 9 days in a row to take care of the house and pets. With a smile, he mentioned that she is struggling to get it done and might need to get some assistance. I told John that I truly appreciated his honesty, and I was glad to see the kind friend I knew in him shining through. I told him that I have always valued his and Jane's friendship. It hurt me to be left out and not even acknowledged. I thought we were close enough. I don't want to cause any problems at his wedding. I have always believed that he and Jane are perfect for each other. I have helped them as much as possible, and I am unsure about what I did or did not do to be excluded. I also said it's difficult to trust Jane again if she has been judging my importance by my relationship status. I jokingly mentioned that I have introduced some of my past long-term partners to you guys, so it's not like I haven't been making an effort. He mentioned that he also doesn't understand, and she might have upset a close single friend because of her views on weddings. I mentioned that our friendship will be affected by this situation, at least for a while. I know you and Jane had an argument that caused this, but I still hope the wedding turns out to be a joyful celebration. I told him I prefer not to accept the invitation, but he said I could change my mind until the last minute and let him know. He was understanding and not insistent about it. John admitted that he was at fault for not supporting me, apologized, and expressed that he feels sorry. He also mentioned that he is grateful to have her in his life and believes that their marriage is a good thing for them. He also said that because of this situation, he will doubt and reconsider her decisions about social issues with his friends for a long time. According to what he said, this was very upsetting for her to hear from him, but she accepted it and apologized after they argued about it. Before we said goodbye in the parking lot, we hugged like friends and John's voice sounded emotional as he apologized one final time. And I believe mine also changed when I pardoned him. It was really surprising and comforting to see John being so honest and responsible, just like the friend I've known for most of my adult life. It was a mix of feelings, like a combination of making up and breaking up, with a trust and friendship that was once strong and taken for granted. Perhaps we can reach that place once more. It seems like it could happen, and it would be good. I'm here now after weeks of intense emotions, thinking about a new kind of deep emotions. Thank you for going through this with me, Reddit. I received more information about OOP. Many people had positive things to say about it. I have tried my hardest to answer people without getting too caught up and to take care of other important tasks. I was glad that John wanted to speak with me. Perhaps the people who comment are correct, and they perceive me differently than I believed we were as friends. Maybe I need to work on being more assertive, because I have been letting people walk all over me until now. I need to reflect on who I am and how I see myself in my relationships with John, Jane, and my other friends. This relationship felt much closer and real in the past. But it's difficult to provide a more complete description of that after a situation like this. Everything evolves. Even though I want to go and support John, I believe it's best to trust my gut feeling and not go. If John is sincere and Jane shows interest, they will reach out. I will be taking a break for a while, and we will see what happens in the future. I'm happy we had the opportunity to chat. If this is the end, I feel good about letting him take responsibility. As I've grown older, I value facing difficult things. I have made plans with a few friends for the upcoming weekend, and I am excited about it. Thank you for your words and thoughts, Reddit. In the following story, my wife has been able to sleep through the night since our baby was born. I found her crying when I told her I needed a short break. She was afraid I was going to take our children away from her. Hello everyone. My wife had our second baby, a girl, 5 days ago. Our son, who is 3 months old, came home 2 days later. For the last 5 days, I, a 25-year-old man, have been taking care of the baby every night so my wife can get a full night's sleep. I also help get the kids ready in the morning. Yesterday morning I got the kids ready to go out after staying up all night. I don't mind it because it allows me to spend time with my baby girl and go for a run with Radon. It also gives my wife time to get ready at her own pace as she is still recovering. She is doing great, but she started feeling guilty because I haven't been able to sleep. I reassured her that everything was fine, but last night before I put our son to bed, I asked my wife if she could look after the children for a bit while I went to the bathroom. When I returned, she was clearly upset and had tears in her eyes. I started to panic, but she reassured me by saying that her moment of panic was because she felt she wasn't doing enough and felt bad that I was taking care of our daughter instead of resting. I understood her and she told me to go to bed when she woke up this morning, after I had a night of sleep with interruptions. I know I shouldn't feel bad, but I always think too much. As a dad, I never feel like I'm doing as much as my wife. She is incredible and recently gave birth. I just want to give her the space she needs to get better. Tivaz? Ops responses to comments. Let me confirm, is this discussion about both parents feeling bad because they think they are not doing enough to help the other parent relax? Is this a way of subtly boasting? No. Tell your wife not to be concerned. She did most of the hard work during the last 3 months of pregnancy, actually throughout the entire pregnancy. You are now willing to help more until you are unable to, and by that time she should be well rested so that both of you can move forward together. I feel like I need to do more. I want to show that not all men are doing only the minimum and that I can care for our children and be as trustworthy as mothers are without question. November 1st, 2024 update. Hello everyone. Many people saw my previous post. I received many comments and it's hard to reply to all of them. I'm sorry for that, and I appreciate all the kind words. However, I don't like any negative comments about my wife. To give you some background, I felt bad because I made my wife cry when I left her with the kids, even though she told me it was important for me to go to the bathroom and sleep in our bed. Also, I am currently on a 6-week break from work to spend time with my child, so work is not a problem at the moment. Thirdly, whoever suggested that we should take turns, you all deserve cookies. We will start taking turns tonight, with me working during the night and early morning hours. And there are many reasons why we are both feeling emotional. This is our second baby, but we have been pregnant 3 times. Nif is our special daughter who we didn't expect to have. Not only for that reason, but we almost got divorced 2 years ago in a very bad situation. Someone who read one of my earlier posts asked me why I chose to remain in that relationship. Almost 2 years ago, during a friend's birthday party, hurtful things were said that caused lasting damage. Even after I stopped drinking, I was still too upset to move forward, so I told her I wanted to end our marriage. We both knew that alcohol was the issue, and she promised to seek help. The concept of needing both CC and IC was also mentioned. We both found issues that needed to be fixed. In short, we concentrated on solving our personal issues and improving our relationship, breaking patterns passed down through generations. We faced many obstacles while we were trying to get better. A close friend I've known for over 10 years stopped talking to me because I decided to give my wife a second chance. In addition, my mother-in-law was arrested. We downsized to a smaller house. Another friend tried to interfere in our relationship, and my father passed away. There have been more challenges, but you understand the idea. Now, in October 2023, we find ourselves in a place where we have both stayed away from alcohol since that party. Our love for each other has grown stronger, and we have even discussed having another child. We discovered she was pregnant in the middle of October and began planning a surprise announcement for Thanksgiving with our family. A few days after Halloween, she loses the baby. This is when you start feeling like you are not doing everything you should. I was at work, 35 miles away, when she had to go to the hospital. Her supposed best friend of 80 years decided not to go with her. She had to go alone while also taking care of a lively toddler. I felt really bad, and even though I've been in therapy, I haven't been able to fully recover from it. When she became pregnant with our daughter, I did everything for her enthusiastically. Before and after birth, turning into a promise to be the greatest husband and father I can possibly be. Another common thing I have noticed people commenting on is her small moment of brilliance. We both enjoy dark humor and joke about our struggles before supporting each other to solve a problem. When she mentioned having a small issue, she was just starting to talk about her problem. This leads to the issue that some people appear to experience. Crying a little is not the same as having a mental breakdown. Please provide the text you would like me to simplify. You shouldn't judge whether someone is experiencing something or not, no matter what. I avoid talking about it because I value my privacy. I have to mention that while I was in the bathroom, our son was in his room, and our newborn was sleeping. My wife cried on the floor, worried about going through a difficult time again. She thinks I am taking on a lot of responsibility because she is afraid I am getting ready to take over if she struggles. When someone shares something unclear, it doesn't always mean they have hidden intentions. This post was created to respond to any questions about the previous one, and to provide information about our marriage, so I might not post again. I want to thank everyone who left kind comments, especially the moms who talked about the 5-day period. It made my wife laugh and feel better. More details about object-oriented programming based on the close relationship with a good friend of over 10 years. After thinking about it and talking to my therapist, we think that the friend who stopped talking to me was actually trying to make me leave my wife for her. That's what the friend who wanted to separate us was also trying to achieve. My wife is usually good at knowing what kind of person someone is, and she is very kind and has made a lot of progress. I didn't want to have to include all her progress in the message, but I can quickly mention some things. She attended AA meetings, learned to drive, began establishing limits with loved ones, and was the one who decided to end the relationship with her ex-boyfriend, among other achievements. Comments where the original poster has responded. Commenter 1. Sending lots of love to both of you. It seems like you've been through a lot, but you're managing to cope. Keep being resilient, you're doing an excellent job. It has been a difficult year. Yes, but we're managing. Thank you for your nice comment as well. Hello op, thank you for the new information.